Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Liaquat and I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. Right, Roots of Knowledge, guys, is my YouTube channel, and make special dua, guys, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepts all the work that I do and the videos that I make, and loads of people benefit from it, inshallah. Right, so we are going through Mukhtasar al-Qudoori, and we have reached Kitab al-Mudaraba. Kitab al-Mudaraba is basically to do with silent partnership. If you've never heard of that, one guy invests, is the investor, and the other guy does all the work. So we are looking at this then. So you have Mudaraba, which means silent partnership. Okay, so silent partnership. Al-Mudarabatu Aqdun, it's a contract. Shirka, it means partnership. Ahd al-Sharikain, partners. A lot of these words we've done before, guys. Bayyanna, we have explained, to explain. Shirka, partnership. Ribh is profit. Okay, again, this word has come before. Musha' means something that's shared or you can say something which is not specified, something that's general. Okay, so ربينهما مشاع, it's going to be divided, shared. لا يستحق أحدهما, يستحق means to deserve. مسمات means specified. So specified. لابد أن يكون المال مسلما, handed over. مسلم. لا يد, hand, يد is hand, as you guys know. رب المال is the investor, so the owner of the wealth, the possessor of the wealth. صحت, valid. مضاربة, you know that. مطلقة means unconditionally. Unconditional. مضارب is the entrepreneur, right? So the guy who's actually doing all the work. يشتري, يبيع. يسافر, travel. يبضع, to have an uncompensated agency. Uncompensated agency basically means that someone does work for you for free. Yes, someone does some work for you. You ask them to do something, they do it. Yuwakkil is to hire someone for agency, to make someone your agent. Wakkala yuwakkil, tawkil. Yadfa, to give. Mudaraba, sign a partnership. Ya'dhan, to permit. Okay, i'mal, do. Khassa is to specify. Tasarruf is dealing or investing. Balad, city. Bi'aynihi, specific. Okay, sil'a is goods. This word has come before as well. Yatajawaz, to go beyond. Yeah, so to go beyond ذلك. مدار مدة, time period. عقد, contract. يشتري, to purchase. Ibn, child. يعتق, so to free. Emancipated slave. اشتراه مشتريا. Right, so let's have a go at the tarkeeb side of this now. I know you guys tarkeeb lovers out there. Who are you guys? Who is the tarkeeb lovers? Right, so كتاب المضاربة. Right, so هذا كتاب المضاربة. المضاربة, this is مبتدا. عقد, again this is خبر. على شركة, so this is جار مجرور. بمال من أحد الشريكين, this is times 2. وعمل, وعمل, عمل من الآخر. ولا تصح المضاربة فاعل إلا بالمال الذي بينا, فعل بين, يبين أن الشركة تصح به. ومن شرطها أن يكون الربح بينهما مشاعا. كيس خبر. لا يستحق أحدهما فاعل منه دراهم. Okay, مسمى. Why is it دراهم? Who knows? مسماة. ولا بد أن يكون المال مسلما, خبر. Okay, so مسلما إلى المضارب. ولا يد, لا نفي الجنس, لرب المال فيه. فإذا صحت المضاربة مطلقة, right, حال. جاز للمضارب أن يشتري ويبيع ويسافر ويبضع ويوكل. How many of you guys are going to be using this as your mutala? Put in the comments. وليس له أن يدفع المال مضاربة إلا أن يأذن له رب المال في ذلك أو يقول له اعمل برأيك وإن خص له رب المال فاعل رب المال التصرف في بلد بعينه أو في سلعة جار مجرور بعينها لم يجز له أن يتجاوز يتجاوز تجاوزا ذلك. كذلك إن وقت للمضاربة مدة so this is مفعول به بعينها جاز وبطل العقد بمضيها. وليس للمضارب أن يشتري أبا this is أبا أبي so أبا رب المال مفعول به. ولا ابنه ولا من يعتق عليه فإن اشتراهم كان مشتريا خبر لنفسه دون المضاربة. Okay, so that's basically what we have. Okay, so that's the basic tarkib, i'rab, whatever you want to call it. Now let's try to explain the text now. You ready, guys? Okay, so what is mudaraba? Mudaraba is basically where you have silent partnership. So let's say, for example, there is a guy. This guy has money to invest, but he doesn't know how to do business. Right, so let's call him Zaid. So Zaid is now looking for an entrepreneur, right? So you know these kind of shows they have out there where these investors come and they're looking for people who can invest their money. So this guy over here, we're going to call him the entrepreneur. He's called Khalid. All right, so Khalid. All right, so Khalid is the entrepreneur. We call him the mudarib, the entrepreneur. And this guy, the other guy, we call him the Rabbul Mal, and that is the capitalist, or the investor, Rabbul Mal. So all this money now is going to go to the Mudarib. The Mudarib is going to now buy and sell and do things, and profits are going to be shared between them. Does that make sense? So one guy does the work, this guy doing all the work, and this guy is sitting back. That's why he's called a silent partner, because he doesn't really do anything. All right, let's have a look at this thing. So mudaraba is aqdun, it's a contract, ala shirkati, or partnership, bimalin min ahadi sharikain, with the wealth from one of the two shariks. Now remember last time we did about shirka, or the 4 types of shirka. Out of those 4, which one does mudaraba fall under? Put in the comments. Wa amalun min al-akhar, right? So mal comes from one of them, Zaid, and the amal comes from another one, the mudarib. Wala tasihul. Okay, next. Make sense? All right. Right, so what are the conditions? Conditions. Okay, here are some conditions. Number 1, you can only use the capital that we mentioned in shirka. All right, so remember in shirka we mentioned what kind of mal can you use to do partnership. So watch that again and let me know in the comments if you remember. So you can only use that. Number 2 is that the profits must be shared by ratio. Profits are shared by ratio, percentage, and not by exact amounts. Right? So in other words, let's say for example they say it's going to be divided between us. The Rabbul Mal says I'll get 30% and you can have 70%. All right? So it's going to be profit sharing like that. You can't say something like this. This guy can't say, I'll take £500 a week. I will take £500 a week and you can have the rest. Because maybe they don't even make £500. Maybe they make 500 only. That means the Mudarib will get nothing, but he has to get something. Does that make sense? Okay, so let's go on with this. So, لا تصح المضاربة. Mudarabatu is not valid. إلا بالمال, except with the mal, الذي بينا, which we explained, أن الشركة, that shirka is valid with it. Right, so in the chapter of shirka, over there, read it again. We mentioned what kind of mal is allowed to be used in shirka. That's the same type of mal that can be used, because it's a shirka, isn't it, at the end of the day? Okay, next. وَمِن شَرْطِهَا, and from its conditions, أن يكون الربح, that the profit is shared by ratio. بينهما مشاع. مشاع means it's shared by ratio. Right, shared. لا يستحق, does not deserve one of the two parties, does not deserve a specific number of silver coins, for example. Right? So if one guy says, I'm going to get 500 silver coins, no, you can't. Right? Because he said this is going to lead to a fight, and then this is not really nice. Okay, the third condition. What's the third condition? Number 3 is that the capital, the money that the principal that's given over, must be handed over to the entrepreneur. Okay, so this guy has to be given the mal. This mal has to be given to him, because the whole point of the mal is to be invested. So if he's not given, what is he going to use to invest? The entrepreneur usually doesn't have the funds. Okay, so he says, وَلَا بُدَّ أَن يَكُونَ الْمَالُ, and it's necessary that the mal, the capital, is handed over مُسَلَّمًا إِلَى الْمُضَارِبِ. Yeah, مُسَلَّمًا الْمُضَارِب. Okay, that's condition number 4. Let's go up. Let's see if we can fit this in. All right, so being very dangerous here. Number 4 is that the Rabbul Mal, the capitalist or the investor cannot touch the money. Now, what does it mean, cannot touch the money? It means he can't go and start investing himself, because the whole point of choosing an entrepreneur is he leaves it to him. So the investor cannot go around saying to people, right, here's my money, but you know what? I'm going to take some of it and I'm going to invest it. No, you can't do that. Right? Because that's come on, yar. What's that? So, وَلَا بُدَّ وَلَا يَدَ. And there's no hand for the Rabbul Mal. That's what it means. The investor cannot touch the money. فيه. Right? So, those are the 4 conditions that you generally just need to remember. Right? So, number 1 is capital in shirka has to be the same as the capital in mudaraba has to be the same conditions as shirka. Profits have to be shared by ratio. Capital must be handed over to the entrepreneur to invest, and the investor cannot touch the money. He can tell the guy what to do, as in a way to invest, but he can't touch it. Make sense? Okay, next. All right, let's move this now. Let's take it to the other side. Get a bit of space. Right, so now once this is done, once this deal is done, this is the mudarib, right? So the entrepreneur, and this is the capitalist, what we call the Rabbul Mal. So he's handed over the mal. Okay, this is the mal. He's handed it over to the mudarib. Mudarib is now going investing it, right? So once the mudaraba has been done, what conditions are there? So there's several ways that the Rabbul Mal might hand the money over. He might hand the money over, number 1, mutlaq. Mutlaq means unconditionally, as in he just says to the mudarib, look, do whatever you like. Right, here you go, here's £1,000, go do whatever you like, but bring me back 30% profit. Right, so therefore the mudarib can buy cars, sell cars, he can put things on rent, he can, whatever he wants to do, that's totally fine. Right, so that's one thing that he can do. So let's write this then. So فَإِذَا صَحَّتِ الْمُضَارَبَ مُطْلَقَةً. So once this mudaraba is valid mutlaq, جَازَ لِلْمُضَارِب. It's permissible for the mudarib to do what? To do the following. He can buy. Right, so if I write this down as well, I think it might help you guys to remember it as well. So he can buy. He can sell. He can travel with the wealth, go to different cities, countries. He can even get people to invest free of charge. So uncommissioned, called uncommissioned agency. Yeah, so uncommissioned, UCA, uncommissioned agency he can have. And he can make people wakil. All right, so he can make people wakil. Wakala, the chapter of wakala, is something which is going to come later, so you don't have to worry about that. Okay, so yeah, these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are 5 things that he says. So he can yashtari, yabi, sell, yusafir, travel, yubdi'a, make someone uncommissioned, uncompensated, not uncommissioned, uncompensated. Or yuwakkil, make someone an agent. Okay. What can't he do? What he can't do is actually this. This is actually something that he's not allowed to do. So he's not allowed to give it as mudaraba to another person. So what does this mean then? So in other words, he can't become a silent partner to someone else. Like, he can't hand this over to another guy and say, you know what, I'm giving you the money and you go and do silent partnership. Yeah, unless there is permission. Unless permission from the original guy. If this guy, the Rabbul Mal, gives permission, that's totally fine then. Then he's allowed to go and make someone else say he can sit down. Yeah, so it can actually carry on for like a whole chain of mudarabas taking place. Yeah. So وَلَيْسَ لَهُ أَنْ يَدْفَعْ. It's not permissible for this guy to hand over the money mudarabatan, by way of silent partnership, to another person, إِلَّا أَنْ يَأْذَنَ لَهُ رَبُّ الْمَالِ, unless Rabbul Mal permits him. So permission comes, that's totally fine. في ذلك, in that. أو يقول, or he says to him, اِئْمَلْ بِرَأْيِكَ. That's one way. The other way that he just says to him, you know what, or do as you see. Yeah, do as you see. So do as you see is like saying do whatever you like. It's totally fine. Now, that's all mutlaq, isn't it? But what if there was muqayyad, right? So muqayyad is basically, so number 2 is muqayyad. Muqayyad is like restricted, right? So restricted. What does restricted mean? It means like he says to him, you can only work in the UK. I only want you to invest this money in the UK. Right? So he tells him a specific city, or he says, I only want you to invest in cars or computers or mobile phones. If that's the case, if he has made it muqayyad, then it actually becomes restricted. وَإِنْ خَصَّ لَهُ رَبُّ الْمَالِ. If the Rabbul Mal, he specifies a specific type of investment, tasarruf, في بلد بعينه, in a specific country like the UK, أو في سلعة بعينها, or in goods that are specific, لم يجوز له, it's not permissible for the mudarib أن يتجاوز ذلك, to cross that, right, to go to Europe or to America or to Asia and to business there. He can't do that. Or if he was told to only deal in cars, he can't now go and start dealing in mobile phones or computers. Likewise, if he was to add and say, you have a specific time limit. So for example, like you have 6 months. So if he says 6 months, that means now, once the 6 months finishes, khalas, yeah, it's over. All right, so 6 months is the time limit. So وَكَذَلِكَ, and likewise, in وَقَّةَ لِلْمُضَارَبَةِ, if the Rabbul Mal, he specifies waqata for the mudaraba, a specific period of time, then it's jaiz. So once the 6 months now passes, بطل العقد بمضيها, right? 6 months passes, that means the contract's over. Any business after that will not be considered to be part of the mudaraba trade, right? So this is also, again, important to understand. For instance, let's say this was the time limit, right? So he says, you've got 6 months, this is 6 months, right? So once now the 6 months is actually done, any trade after that will not be counted as mudaraba, right? So any buying, selling, only within the 6 months, because he stipulated that his investment, he only wants it to run for 6 months, that's it. Okay, so that's place, the items, and time limit. Those are things which can actually be specified, muqayyad. Okay, last but not least, right? So what if the mudarib goes and buys something which harms the Rabbul Mal? Well, what can that be? How can the mudarib buy something which actually affects, harms the Rabbul Mal? So the example that they give, right? This is a good example they give. They give an example like this. They say, let's say, for instance, the mudarib goes and buys. Now I need to explain this masla a bit, right? So you guys just gotta bear with me, inshallah. So Rabbul Mal, let's say, for example, he has a father, all right? He's got a father. And this father is a slave. Now, the rule in Islam is you can't own your own relative. You can't own your father, or you can't own your son or your brother or sister, uncle, auntie. You can't own those. The Prophet ﷺ said, whoever becomes owner, whoever buys, becomes owner of their relative, their close relative, they immediately become free, straight away. Right, so you can't own your own. So here, if the mudarib was now didn't know and he actually bought the father with the money that the Rabbul Mal has given, he purchased the father. Right, he purchased the father. What is going to happen in this case? Right, we're going to find out about that next. Actually, is he mentioning here? Yeah, it's mentioning here. So we're going to find out more next lesson. There's going to be more details here. But this, so let's say he bought the father for, I don't know, £1,000. This £1,000 is going to come out of his own pocket. It's his own purchase. The courts will say, you bought his father. You had no right to buy his father. So therefore, that purchasing is now from your pocket. That's your slave, that is. Okay. So let's have a look. وَلَيْسَ it's not permissible للمضارب for the mudarib أن يشتري أبا رب المال to buy the father of the Rabbul Mal. Right, so you can't buy this Rabbul Mal, this is the father. ولا ابنه, nor his son, so if he had a son. ولا من يؤتق عليه, not anyone else who will become freed upon him, like his close relatives, like I said. فإن اشتراهم, if he was to buy them, like he bought this father, كان مشتريا لنفسه, he will be counted as being buying for himself, دون المضاربة, and not for the mudaraba itself. Does that make sense? Yeah. And that's it, guys. So basically, that's the lesson for today then. Right, so let's just have a little quick recap of what we covered today. So okay, so there's some questions for you guys. Do you guys like me putting questions up at the end? Let me know if you guys like me putting questions up, and maybe I can continue it. So what is mudaraba? Explain to me what mudaraba is. So mudaraba is عقد على شركة بمال من أحد الشريكين وعمل آخر. Right, so it's where you have a business where one of them is the capitalist, investor, and the other one is the doer, is the entrepreneur. Okay. What kind of wealth can you use in mudaraba? So the wealth you use in mudaraba is the same wealth that you use in shirka. So you know, that's something which we've studied over there. Okay, next one. What kind of profit? How can the profits be divided between the two people? So it has to be shared by ratio, right? It can't be shared by specific amounts. Okay, what are the four conditions of mudaraba then? So capital must be the same as shirka, profit is shared in ratios, capital must be handed over, and investor cannot touch the money. All right. Okay. What are the various instructions that the Rabbul Mal can give? So it can either be mutlaq or it can be muqayyad. What does it mean, mutlaq? What does mutlaq mean? Mutlaq means that the mudarib, the entrepreneur, he can buy, sell, travel. He can then make someone an uncompensated agent, and he can also make someone a wakil. Okay. Can the mudarib hand over the money to another person via silent partnership? Answer: no, he can't, unless he's given permission. Right? Okay. What kind of things can the Rabbul Mal specify upon the mudarib? So you can specify place of investment, type of investment, and the time period of the investment. And these are three things. Okay. What happens if the mudarib buys the father who is a slave, the father of the Rabbul Mal? So if he does that, or his son, or anyone like that, then it comes out of his own pocket. All right? Okay. Khalas. Let me know, guys, if you guys want me to put questions up at the end, or if you don't want that, or if you enjoy this. And I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Thank you for watching my video, guys. It means a lot to me. If I can make one request, please share my videos with others. Hit the like button, subscribe button. And if you want to support my channel, one of the best ways to support it would become a patron, a monthly supporter of my channel. You can make one-off payments through PayPal if you want. Details at the bottom below. Maybe there's someone you know out there who wants to support work like this. Pass it over to them, inshallah. You can tell them to email me, and inshallah, if they have any questions, I can answer them. Right, guys, I will take permission from you guys. I hope you guys have a wonderful time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.